wasn't going back to sleep, so I've been up since then, and I'm sure I'll pay for it later and crash or whatever. But anyway, thank you all again for your giving and your faithfulness. Thank you again, Joseph, Joe, and Betty. Appreciate you guys very, very much and your service to the body of Christ, our church body specifically. Donna, it is good to see you this morning. Hopefully you all got to see Donna. Give her a great big hand. We love you. We appreciate you. We've been praying for you and thank God for you and just believe God's very best for you and your life. Praise the Lord. Also, one more thing before I get into the presentation, and that is we have a very special thing today at the end of the potluck is we're going to have a wedding ceremony. If you'd like to hang around, I'm going to join in holy matrimony Neil Jones and Danielle Wolf. And they've invited you to, well, I don't know if they invited you, but I did, to stick around. And if you'd like, and watch them tie the knot. And they are going to later in August do a big deal, then a big grand celebration. But they just really sense this is the timing is right to go ahead and be joined in holy matrimony. And we just believe God's got good things for them in store for their life. I just really see the call of God on both of them, in that they just have a heart and a passion for the things of the Lord. And so you want to call out the gold and the destiny, that which you see, and you want to call it forth. And so I just see an acceleration on both of their lives of the plans and purposes of God, and that we get to be a part of that. That's the awesome, joyous thing, that we get to be a part of that and join with them and watch God accelerate His plan, His purpose, and ministerial direction for them. So we are excited about that. Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I have a costume on. And so you probably saw Pastor Helen up here. She was playing the keyboards. And so we had these designed for us. We were leaving on Wednesday morning at 5:20 out of Eugene. I get a call at 2 a.m. on my phone. My cell's ringing and ringing and ringing. So I get up and answer it, and it's from Africa. And it's Bishop's wife, Dr. Flora, and she's calling, and she's saying, hey, I need to get your guys' sizes from you, because they were going to make these outfits for us. So then I'm groggy as everything. I'm like in a blur, and I'm giving her sizes that I can remember. And it's been a long time since I've worn a suit. I says, well, I wear a 44 short. I say my chest size is approximately this. I know my waist is this, and my chest is this size, and my inseam, it's a great big hole, 30 inches. My inseam's not very long. My waist is actually wider than my length. But anyway, so I gave her those dimensions. Then Helen woke her up, and she proceeded to talk to her, and then she drew a picture with both the sizes and in centimeters, and we sent them off. Well, after they sent them to their tailors and they began to work on them later, we come to find out the tailor couldn't figure it out. And so they just took a look at our pictures, and they, from our pictures, made these to fit. And so they actually fit really good. The only thing is they didn't realize I have a pretty fat neck. And I'm pretty choked off here. And these aren't V-neck. It's like, right the collar. And so as a result of it, I have this really, tight thing around my neck, but I'll make it. And so we just really appreciated them and appreciated their thoughtfulness and just so hospitable and so giving, and really, really appreciate the Lord. So these guys have been in ministry for, basically most of their lives, but their manna ministry has been going for the last 23 years. It's international in scope. It's actually worldwide in scope. They have a daily TV, not daily, but a daily program online. They have he writes daily. He has a daily devotional. It's called Our Daily Manna that goes out every day, 365 days a year, Our Daily Manna, that he writes. And then he hears from the voice of the Lord, spends about 5 hours a day in writing, and then it goes out on the internet all over the world. And their church is bigger than what you would see even on TV. Their local church probably, I'm going to guess, about 5,000 people. We had a packed service on the Sunday, which was last Sunday that we preached there. We ministered there. Helen and I were there ministering last Sunday. And we went there actually for their World Anointing Service that happens every year, the last weekend of January, and then into February 1st. Happens every year. They've been doing it for, I think, 12 years. 12 years they've been doing it. We were honored to be their guest speakers and to be there for this great event. And so what happens is, if you've ever been and Betty would know this, but a lot of times in foreign countries, the service will start and you don't get picked up until the service is already rocking and rolling. If you're the speaker, everything's up and running. So Bishop and his wife, they came and got us, and they actually gave me an app to go online and watch online while I'm sitting in our hotel room. So I'm watching online on my phone, and I'm watching testimonies and different things online. And then we take off, and we meet them in the lobby. They pick us up, and everywhere we go, it's a police escort. When they picked us up at the airport, it was a police escort. So what happened is we left at Wednesday morning, 5:20, flew to Seattle. That's an hour flight. We're in a layover in Seattle. It's for whatever reason, we always end up there for too long. It's like 5 hours or something like that, sitting in Seattle. I don't know why it's so difficult. We got on a plane, flew to JFK, so it's an hour, then 5 hours. We'd already been awake basically since 2 o'clock because we got woke up. And so then it's that hour flight there, getting checked in and all that in Eugene. Then it's on to Seattle. Then it's on to JFK. We carry on. I learned a long time ago. I taught Helen, you need to pack light. I need to pack light. We carry roller-on bags. We don't check anything because you never know. I lost my luggage once when I went to Haiti. Never again. I says, we're packing light. We carry everything in our roller bags and one carry-on. That's it. That's how we travel. And so, because I'm never losing my luggage again. So it's with us at all times. Plus, when you go to customs and you go from one place to another, you have it. You don't have to wait to go and baggage check or anything like that. It's like zoom, 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 zoom. So we get to JFK. We jump on a plane. It's 10 hours to Lagos, Nigeria from yeah, it's 2 days. 2 days from the day we left. We get there on Thursday afternoon at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:50. And so they meet us, and they have it dialed. Because the last time we were in Nigeria, we flew into Lagos as well, and we're trying to find our host, and I'm trying to find the guy, and poor Helen, she gets left over here, and she's like abandoned. I'm getting this guy, and we get carried away. But this time we got there, top notch. They met us. They had a guy that met us. I mean, we walked off the plane. He says, John Torres. I said, yes, come with me. And he was a government official. He worked in the airlines. So, I mean, it was top class VIP all the way. We walked right up to customs, and we went right into where we had our visa. They checked it, stamped it, and looked at it, put our fingerprints on. And like I said, Nigeria is one of the toughest places to get a visa of any place that I've been. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of is that every scam that you've ever seen comes from Nigeria. So getting in there is a whole nother story. But we made it. It all came together. We got in there, and we got out of there. And so when we left JFK, we were there in the evening, and you fly all night because you take a red eye. Basically, they want you to get acclimated so that when you get there, you're up and running. And it works pretty good, actually. So we got there. We got into customs, went through customs, and we got with the pastor's wife, went out and met her. They were waiting right there for us. And then we had police escort. You'll see here in a bit. There was basically, how many police was there anyway? There was like 2 police cars, one in front, one in back. They're pickups, actually, 4-door pickups, and they had like 4 guys in the front. They had a cop in ours with the AK-47, and then other guys in the back. And that's how we went. That's how we rolled. Everywhere we went, that's the way we rolled. So we went to the airport. We went from the airport. We went straight to the hotel where we were staying, and we went there, and by police escort, we got there. And so after said 2 days of flying and everything else, we got there. We checked in. They checked us in, told us whatever you need, help yourself, food, whatever, 24/7, whatever you need, go down, get it, etc. Because we had room service, the whole shoot match. So they really, really took care of us, first class, top shelf. And we really, because I tell you, I've been in some real rat holes too. When you travel and minister, you rejoice when there is somebody who takes care of you and hosts you really well. Because the next time you may be with the cockroaches running across the floor and the toilet barely hanging on. And so, I mean, I've been all of it. It just goes with the territory. So we were blessed by them and their ministry. So let's see. Do you have those pictures by any chance? So let's try to start this. I'll row through it. This is New York City. This is where we left from, the departure city. And so that's where I had to take a picture of the shirts just to show you that we were really there. The next picture will show you that is our final meal before we left the States. And so we were eating at Wild Wings. Helen had wings, and I had, what did I have? I had wings too. We split wings, actually. We both split wings. Next picture, please. There it is. Wings and fries, our last meal, right? Before we head out of the country. Next picture, please. There she is smiling at you, having a gnaw on a chicken bone. Next picture, please. This is now, we're on the ground in Nigeria. There's our escort right there. Woo, 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 woo. All the way to the hotel. Now, this isn't like going, rush hour Eugene down Beltline. This is pretty good here, but it gets packed. And so they literally drive up like what would be on the curb. They come off, and there's off-ramps. And what they do is like every time they would go to the off-ramp, and they would cut in and make the traffic stop. And so we would shoot in, and then we would go down the lane. It was just absolutely crazy. Next picture, please. There's another picture. Maybe you can let this roll a little bit. I think it might be a video, if I'm not mistaken. It's trying to circle. Yeah, this is it. If you could. So this is pretty freewheeling right here. Later on, we get into traffic. See that guy? That's a police officer. He's got an AK-47 sitting right next to him. It's our driver. There's Helen, smiles, yay. And then back to the picture out front. And you're listening to Christian music, African style, all the way there. The beat is almost like a calypso style beat. It's a reggae beat, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, thumping louder the better. And so we go. You go on the next one if you would, please. Now we're getting into traffic here. This is what traffic looks like. Get stopped, and so he's honking his horn. We have occasions that the cops will literally get out of the car, and if the people aren't paying attention, they take these like rubber bats, and they'll threaten with the rubber bats till they get over out of the way, so that on we go. Hey, see, everything's honk, 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 honk. All right, next picture, it's all right. So here we are at the hotel. There you go. They got the AK-47s. That's part of our security guard right there. And so we rejoice in for security. You say, well, why do they have security? Nigeria, Lagos, is the capital city of Nigeria. Nigeria alone has 220 million people alone in it. That's one country in Africa. United States of America has 330 million people. Nigeria is only one. It's not small, but it's a pretty good sized country of 220 million. I think. See, most people when you say Africa, they think the whole continent is one nation. It's not. That's the continent. Each of those have nations within it. And Nigeria, probably the size of the state of Oregon, has 220 million people. Lagos alone, I think, is like 11 million people. So it's absolutely huge, a massive humanity. 10 of the world's largest churches are in Lagos, Nigeria. 10 of the world's largest churches are in Lagos. In fact, right now, one of the pastors is building a church that will literally seat 1 million people. Crazy, huh? Next picture, please. This is the hotel we stayed at. This is Friday morning, so what ended up happening, we went and crashed on Thursday. We were zonked. We slept, and then we woke up the next day, which was Friday, and I went down for breakfast. This was my breakfast companion outside at Peacock. Next picture, please. There's a good picture of him. Look at him looking right at me. Ain't he nice? All right. Now, out behind that, back up. That's fine. You can stay there. That's the Atlantic Ocean straight behind me. So that property, the hotel, butts right up to the Atlantic Ocean. Next picture. See my glasses? Stop for a minute. See my left glasses, how fogged up it is? Because I'm inside. I go from inside, which is air conditioning. Inside, everywhere is air conditioning. You walk outside, it's 95 degrees. Boom, instant heat. My glasses fog right up. Next picture, please. That is the Atlantic Ocean. A little bit of trash over there on the right. It's also the cityscape of Nigeria, some of the skyscrapers that are there in Lagos. Next picture, please. There we are, smiling for you. It's Friday morning. We're up, and actually it's noon by now. I think we're down having lunch. So we walk out after lunch and we take our pictures out there, and that is like the constant state of their sky. It's almost always overcast and smoggy because there's so many people that it's almost smoggy and foggy. Next picture, please. There's another picture of it. Next picture, please. A little bit of trash there, huh? That wouldn't fly in Oregon, would it? Next picture, please. So here's the landscape again. Next picture. Another picture. Keep going, keep going. There's the peacock. He's all fanned out for us. Look at him. He's all fanned out. my grandkids said, Papa, are you going to see tigers and lions and whatever? Because when we go to South Africa, we see wildlife. I go, man, there's no wildlife around anywhere. There's just city, and there's people. There's hardly any wildlife anywhere. But then I had to take a picture and show them that there was actually a wildlife on property. It was this big old peacock. Next picture, please. So this is going to the Friday night service. Like I said, what ends up happening is that we leave, I think it's about 8 o'clock, and the service has been going since about 7. And so we're on our way. There's a guy in the back of that taking a video of us as we're going, believe it or not. He's rocking back and forth as we're zinging our way to the stadium. The stadium that we're going to is the largest stadium in Lagos, and it'll seat about 1 million people, that stadium. It's the largest soccer field in the city. There's only about 3 pastors that will fill that stadium for their events, and Bishop Chris is one of them. I call him Bishop Chris K because his last name is so hard to pronounce that it's just better for me, instead of massacring it, to call him Bishop K. And his wife is Dr. Flora. So this is on our way there. This is traffic. It's Friday evening, about 8 o'clock. We're headed to the stadium. You can hear the sirens going. And like I said, every time we go anywhere, this is what we're facing. Next picture, please. This is, we walk out there, and actually I don't have a picture. I should have put a picture of it on there, because what ended up happening is that Google Pictures will make a whole thing for you, so it saved me from doing it. Otherwise, I would have had a more pictorial, but showing some more of the events. But this is up and running. When we walk out here, there's a gal behind there that is talking. This gal is signing, and see the gal to the right is signing, and the little gal up front is dancing. In a minute, I'll show you a video of them taking the offering later on. But this service lasts basically from 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock the next morning. It's called a World Anointing Service. So they do it every year, all night. So we did pretty good. We stayed until 6 o'clock and bugged out. Bishop was there until 8 o'clock, ministering for people until 8 in the morning. And so we left at 6 a.m. and thought we did pretty good. We probably could have hung through the whole thing, but, we went home and got breakfast. We went home, changed clothes, and then went down and had breakfast, and then went back and went to bed. Slept the rest of the afternoon, or the rest of the day in the afternoon. So what happened is when we got there, we went into their green room, which is a big tent, air conditioning. It's hot outside. We walk in there. They have a TV set up, couches everywhere, etc. We're watching it actually live, and then they interview us. The bishop's there. They interview us all, taking pictures, etc. And so they're chatting with us, and then when we walk out, and so it's Bishop and I, and then Helen and Flora behind us, and he grabs my hand. You'll probably see this picture, and we're walking out together. A mass of humanity. Probably 500,000 to 750,000 people were gathered at the event. They have told people to stay away and not come because so many people come they can't get in. And on one occasion, there was a lady that fell, broke her teeth out, and sued them. And so he says, just stay at home and watch. He has TV or big video screens set up on remote sites all across Africa, and they watch in Nigeria from other places. And there's probably, like I said, 500,000 to 750,000, about 750,000 people that are gathered. That's the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, or Helen's ever spoken to in our lives. And we've been to some big crowds, but that's the largest that we've ever ministered in at one time. Plus those watching by TV. So literally millions of people that were watching this event, to the glory of God. By the way, I talked about Word and Spirit, that we were there as ambassadors of World Miracle Life, which is John Fair and Debbie Fair. If you remember them, they came with us. We were representing them as ambassadors, but also our church, Word and Spirit International Church. So we mentioned our church many times. Next picture, please. There we are. There's a picture of the people behind us. And we'd sat down, and I took a photo for you to see us there. Next picture, if you would, please. There's, again, the platform. Keep on going. Keep on going. That's Bishop right there. He's got his bishop robe on. And so he's ministering in that till he sweated it out, had to take it, went and took it off, and then just came out in his suit. Next picture, please. This guy, he had ministered words of knowledge to people and ministered to people already, and people had fallen out under the power. This guy's just videoing. This is Mercy singing. This gal is anointed. She's powerful. She was their special guest singer, and just the glory of God fell. The anointing came, It was awesome. Awesome. Next one, please. Now here's them taking offering. This is how you take an offering right here. Watch this. Come on. I got into it with them too, man. That guy's a pastor right there. So that lady, there's that line right there. That's good. You see all that line of people right there? I shared your testimony when I preached about you guys getting pregnant, Sunil and Heather. And Pastor had a word of knowledge for people to come forward to have babies. All those women are there to receive ministry, to open their wombs. All those women up front. And in fact, their ushers kind of fell apart, so I had to jump in and line them all up. The bishop, he was getting mad. He goes, "Come on, if you can't back up, I'm not praying for you. I'm going to send you all back to your seats." So I just jumped in there. I said, "All right, I know how to do a prayer line. We've done these." So I started lining these guys all up, but there was I think 5 rows deep, clear across the front of that auditorium, hundreds, literally, I'm not kidding, hundreds, I'm not evangelistically speaking, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that came forward that had a word of knowledge that I believe was prompted by your testimony of God opening your womb. Hallelujah. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that came forward. All right, next one, please. Don't worry about that one. I think we're going home now. This is now Sunday. So we had to recoup on, because it was all-nighter. I mean, it was all night. It was amazing. And then, so we crashed on Saturday, and then Sunday comes, we go down and have breakfast with Bishop and his wife. We hang out together, and then we go to service, and this is their church. Like I said, they probably have a church of 5,000. I don't know how many's in the building here, but it's packed to capacity. There's a balcony that you can't see as well. There's a whole lower level and an upper level as well. And so they still had their Christmas stuff up. Did you notice that tree there? See Santa right there on the tree too? Look at him up on the right. Okay, next picture. So that's, not sure who that is, but it's Green Day, by the way, a touch of green. Now, one thing that you'll find in African churches is they will have a theme for the day. So it'll be a touch of green, it'll be a touch of white, it'll be a touch of yellow. So they have a theme for the day. So everybody shows up in green, or everybody show up in yellow, or everybody shows up in white or whatever. Hence, this is Green Day. We were there on Green Day. And that's why we had these outfits that are here. Next picture, please. Hey, there we are, sitting down. We roll in, sit down. And there's part of the facility. Next picture, please. There's their choir. He will make a way. Don't know how, but you did it. Make a way. Next picture, please. There they are rocking out. Next picture, please. This is Bishop. Got his bishop thing on. Yeah. And so he's ministering. And so here, what he does, he really flows in the prophetic. In fact, he considers himself a prophet. And one of his major thrusts is he just prophesies. So he'll declare things, prophesy things out loud. People repeat after him. And so that's kind of his flow in moving in the revelatory and prophesying that way. Next picture, please. That's a picture of John Fair right there. He was supposed to be there. They were not able to make it because of their visa and yellow fever. In fact, right now, to find a yellow fever shot anywhere is very difficult. Helen and I had one from 2008 when we were in Nigeria the last time, and a yellow fever shot is a lifetime shot. So we had ours, door opened, our visa came back in about a week's time. So I mean, just all the doors opened up for us. John couldn't get his visa to go. They couldn't find any in all of Dallas-Fort Worth. There was nobody that had serum of yellow fever. In fact, I called in Eugene. There was none in Eugene either. And so that kind of shut that door, but we went representing, and that was them. Next picture, please. This is somebody being ministered to. Next picture. Again, ministry taking place. These are pastors and leaders from different parts of Nigeria that came to the event. Next picture. That's Bishop ministering. Next picture, please. There shows you a little bit of the balcony up there, but it goes all the way around. It wraps all the way around. See that hat on Flora's head right there? That's the bishop's wife. The hat thing is very cool. Helen had one made for her, but she just couldn't get it dialed in, and so she gave it back because it was just too big a hassle. Plus, it'd mess her hairdo up, and you know how we Americans are. We're pretty vain about our hair. You know, we can't mess our hair up. It's got to, you know, once you have a hat on it, done. So anyway, next picture. There we are, some pictures of the crowd. Next picture, please. There's some more different part of the auditorium. Next picture, please. Another part of the auditorium. Next picture, please. There is another picture of us. Another picture, please. This is Bishop ministering prophetically. Next picture. There we are. Smiley, smiley. This is what happens at the end of their services. So they call their church Manna Mountain Prayer. Manna Mountain is that they end most of their services by kneeling and praying. Go ahead, let it run. This is them interceding and praying right here. They're crying out to God. It's how they end their service. Yep. Yep. How do you like those couches? All right, that's good. It starts over. Next picture. There's the balcony. You can go to the next picture. All right, so that happened. Then we went back in the afternoon. We had lunch together, and this was on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, this was on Monday because they came for breakfast, and then we hung out together for a couple of hours, and just shared, ministered one to another. It was a good time, spending time together, getting to know the bishop and his wife. That's Chris and Flora. So we just got to spend time together. And we're flying out that night, by the way. Next picture, please. There we are on the plane. We are headed to Amsterdam. So we had this planned on purpose. What we did is we went to minister, and then what we did is because of this, they flew us through Amsterdam, we just stayed for 3 days. So we arrived on a Tuesday morning because we took the red eye, which is the Monday night. They fly at night. We got there. It's like 6 hours. And so we got there at in the morning, like 6 in the morning, 5 something, almost 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So we went and see if we could check in. They didn't have our room ready, so we went next door, ate breakfast, came back. They had a room for us. We took our stuff up and crashed. So we slept all day to recover, and then we had 2 days of touring, one out in the countryside, and then the other one was the next day, which was Thursday in town. We'll rip through these really fast because you don't care about this stuff anyway. This is just us tooling around Amsterdam. Next picture. Keep going. Keep going. That was across the street from our hotel. Now, this was on the next day. This is Helen. Look at that. Did you know that at one time there were about 660 windmills all around the greater Amsterdam area? Do you know why? Anybody know why? Helen, you know why? Why is it? Actually, Amsterdam is barely at sea level. And so they have all the dams there to make sure the water flows so that they don't flood. So you'll have a place where this is higher than this, and there's water going everywhere. Canals all through Amsterdam, all out in the countryside, and they built upon rocks, and they fill it in with soil. And the reason for the windmill was to create the power to divert the water to get where it needs to go. That's before they had electricity. But now that they have electricity, they don't need the windmills. So this is basically the relics and the remnants of the windmills in this one particular town, and so they don't really need them anymore. Yeah, so when I was sitting there, I was thinking, I go, what happened to Holland? Where's Holland at? Because I'm looking on the map and I can't find Holland. When I was a kid in school, everything was about Holland and wearing Dutch shoes and everything. Remember that? Well, Holland is no more. Holland hasn't been Holland since 1800s. It's the Netherlands. Netherlands is Holland. And they shifted, like I said, because they don't need the windmills anywhere to power the water. So they only have these for the tourists like us that come. That's the reason for it. So there's the canals, and there's a big anchor. There's some more windmills. So that windmill, what happens is there's canvas that'll open up, and when it catches the wind, if it needs more, it'll open more canvas up to catch more wind to turn the propeller. Keep going. There's this little village that we're at. Look at the water there. Look at the water. Those dikes. See, now let me show you something real quick. Like, see this water level here? See up there? That's higher. See how it berms up and goes up those dikes? Remember the little boy in the wooden shoes stuck his finger in the dam to hold it in? What was that called? Remember that? What was his name? The little Dutch boy. Remember him? Yeah. All right. Anyway, so that's how it is. So there's some more water. Look at that. That's that town. Yeah, they're right there. Keep going. Keep going. More. There we are. We're walking. We walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. I got my steps in that day. Keep walking. There we go. Okay, stop. Back up. Helen liked this shot. She wanted me to get this shot. These are these kids going to ride bikes. I'll tell you something about the Netherlands and Amsterdam and the surrounding area. Everybody rides bikes. There are more bikes than there are cars. I'm serious. I should have took more pictures of the bike. I thought Eugene was bike crazy. This place is literally bike crazy, and they will run you over. They actually have bike lanes. That's a bike lane right there. And they'll run you over, and they'll ring these little bells. Ding, ding, ding. You better watch out because they'll run you right down. I mean, they're flying on their bikes, and their bike wheels are really high, so they really get cruising. And they're flying everywhere on these bikes. Next picture, please. Next picture, please. Yeah, they're going to school. That's where they were headed, those kids. They were all going to school. Keep going. Keep flying. This is now, go back. This town is called Edam. Now, Amsterdam is... And then there's Rotterdam. Have you heard of Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Edam? The reason they name it is because these dams, these towns are built on dams, and so it's called the Amstel Dam is Amsterdam. Rotterdam is the dam, that's a dam. It's built on a dam. Edam is also a dam, and so these are all. This is Edam. This is this little city of Hamlet that's built on these dikes and dams. Keep going if you would. There's a big tower that bells ring. That's a church right there. And it's there from the 1600s. Those bells up there are original bells from the 1600s. And they ding every 30 minutes. Ding, dong. And their sound is impeccable. Keep going. This is cheese. They're also famous for cheese. And basically what they do is they have skim milk and whole milk. The skim milk products, they send it all away and ship it out. They keep all the whole milk products, and they call it Gouda. Do you know what Gouda is? We call it Gouda cheese. They call it Gouda cheese. In fact, the proper name, Gouda. Gouda cheese. That's how they pronounce it. Gouda. And they have it from like 3 months age, 6 months age, a year age, to 2 years age, to 3. They have cheese up to 3 years of age. They have some cheese even older than that to let it age. Sometimes that is so old that it's like you hit it and it falls apart. It's like chunks because it's so old. So keep going if you would, please. Another picture of this town that we're in. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I wasn't swearing. Back up. Back up. See the hotel? DAM Hotel? It's because it's built on the dam. That's why. You got it? I'm standing on the dam right there as I'm taking the picture. Keep going. Next picture. Church. This is a sad thing. Back up. This church right here. This is a sad thing. Our guide was saying the churches in Amsterdam are pretty much empty. What they've done is they've taken all the larger churches, they've emptied them, turned them into other things like skating parks, bike parks, display places, and the little ones they gather and meet because they're the only place that has any people anymore. It's a sad commentary. I sat there and I listened. I says, my goodness. He says that basically people are either Christian, or they're Muslim, or they're atheists. And about 70, how many people? I think it's like 7. I don't remember how the percentage, but I don't know how many are just 40% are flat out atheists. Sad commentary on this part of Europe. Keep going. This is where they make the shoes. Have you ever seen those like clogs? They're made out of wood, so you learn how to make clogs right there. And I asked them, they're going on, and I raised my hand. You know me, there's all these people sitting around. I said, hey, hey, hey. I says, what's the reason? How did they start making the shoes? Why the wooden shoes? And I thought in my mind I knew. And he goes, well, because what happened is when they came here, everything's water, and leather wears out. It rots in the water. So that's why they made the wooden shoes, because the wooden shoes wouldn't wear out. They wouldn't rot. They can handle it, but they're big, cloggy, clunky things. They shuffle around in them. You have to learn how to walk in them. Next picture, please. More of that. Next picture. That's not salt water. That's a lake created by the dams. Keep going. Another picture. There's Helen. Keep going. We had lunch in this little town. That's you right there. That's you standing right there. We ate just down the street at a place called Fish and Chips. Awesome. Next picture, please. There's a little stand, little trinket shop. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we are at the city center. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There's the boat we took a cruise on. This is the bus that we took on a day trip on. Keep going. This is the in-city trip. You just fly through these because I'm running out of time. Whether you know it or not, there's a number of museums that are in Amsterdam and some pretty famous painters. Back up. That's Heineken Brewery. That's where it started right there. I'm not advocating booze. I'm not advocating beer, but that's where it started right there, just to let you know. Keep going. Look, they couldn't drink the water. In fact, in the early days, kids and adults both drank the beer because the canals was so horrible, the water. That's why they did it, in all honesty. There's some bikes. Look at that building. Museums. So while we were there, we went to a couple of museums. We went to this Rusket Museum, and in it has Rembrandts and Van Goghs. I noticed when I went to the boys' bathroom over here, we have a Van Gogh in there. It's a print, but it's not the real deal. But we saw the real Van Goghs in the Rusket Museum, and also Rembrandt's. We were in his house. We went to his house in his own personal museum where he lived. Went to his house. There we are in front of the museum. That's a Van Gogh original. Van Gogh original. That's a King Henry V. That's his I don't know, big deal, whatever it is. Cabinet. Thank you. There's some spears because they fascinated me. There's some cannons because they fascinated me. How do you know every guy likes cannons and weapons? That's some more Van Goghs. More Van Goghs. More Van Goghs. Those are pictures. Those are paintings of different artists. Stained glass. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks. You guys know what I meant. Hang on. That's a Rembrandt. Back up. That's a Rembrandt. Stay right there. They're actually doing a digital thing to make sure it's tip-top condition. It's behind glass. You can't touch it. Keep going. Keep going. Rembrandt. Keep going. Rembrandt. That's the same one. A Shadow Knight. That's a Rembrandt right there. That's a Rembrandt right there. It's King. Keep going. Look at that. Muskets. What artists did is they would take replicas and they would use them because hey, stop right there. I sent this to Holly because she loves hats. And I said, Holly, I was kidding. I said, I tried to buy you a hat, but they wouldn't let me. Those are actually under glass. They're very old hats. Those are fishermen and whales hats is what they are. They're wool. They're made out of wool. So she sent back, she says, I want the second one from the right. See the green one because she likes green? That's the one she wanted. Keep going. Hard Rock, we went there for lunch on Thursday. More church-style buildings. Keep going. Keep going. Look at, stop, back up. Those are bikes. That's a tier, that's a tier, that's a tier. Those are all bikes. Tons and tons of bikes. They're stored. They're right there. Keep going. That's the river we floated on a boat. That's Rembrandt's house. That's Helen in front of Rembrandt's house. This is now the museum, his studio. These are his pictures in his studio. Some are his students, some are his. He did lithograph. He did sketching, etchings. That's his stuff. That's his actual. What do you call that room? Studio. Thank you. That's his actual studio right there. That's Rembrandt's studio. Keep on going. The stuff they do to get paints and everything. It's amazing. Keep going. Okay, go back up. That is his students right there. Those little cubicles are his students. Keep going. He'd train them $40 a month, I think it was. This is McDonald's in Amsterdam before we leave. Now, when you order a McDonald's, I had the London and Helen had the something. I don't know. But anyway, the London, here's what the London is. Yeah, it's a hard. Hers is a sausage McMuffin with egg, and you get an orange juice and you get a coffee. Mine was an egg McMuffin, but it had bacon. It didn't have the normal Canadian bacon. Orange juice, and it had the coffee, and it also had a what do you call those crustaceans? What do you call those things? The croissant. That's how that meal comes, with a croissant. Yeah, and so that's it. We're leaving. We're headed back home. We flew from Amsterdam. We flew from there back to Seattle, and that took us about 9 hours. A little bit of a tailwind. We were there 9 hours, and so there we go. That's it. Yeah. Say something. I'm done. Praise God. Whirlwind trip. Any questions before we're about done? I want to wrap it up because we want to eat and do a wedding. So yes. Oh no, you get to go to Africa when you're 18 or when you graduate. That's where you get to go. All right. Anything else? All right, we're done. Let's stand up.